my father, after having been Milford Dudley Briggs, wanted to have a son who was just plain Bill. You remember that? Yeah, right. And he's had many names during all those years. Billy, and it's so told by other relatives in our family that I called him my brother. And when he was away from me, I would say, I want to see my brother. I want to see my brother. And I still feel that way every once in a while. And he was called Billy, and William, and Senator, and Riggs, and Private Bill. What were you called? Are there any other names that any of you know that he was called after that?
Granddad.
Granddad. Dad. He was called cousin, uncle by all of my children and many others. Cousin, yeah, I said that already. Granddaddy.
Uncle Bill.
And now great-granddaughter, great-granddaddy by 9 and almost 10 children. And no.
That's true. That's true.
10, almost 11, for heaven's sake. It's amazing. He's also been called the marrying man. Is that what you said? So he was called the marrying
Sam.
Marrying Sam. Where did that come from?
Oh, yeah.
He's been a fisherman. And what are some of your memories that you
He's
have?
an airport transport person.
An airport transferred person by many and all who would take him, who would ask him, and so much so that he had no on a plaque in front of his desk, and now he has yes because he doesn't like to accept people's help because he's given it for so many years.
And he's Mr. Meals on Wheels.
Mr. Meals on Wheels, and now Tom has taken over from there.
And I can't tell you how many people tell me that they know Bill from when their children were on the bus going to various athletic things.
He's the bus driver.
The bus driver.
The bus driver, how many people tell them, oh, I knew Bill when he was driving the school bus.
And they bring their children around to see me.
Our thing is how many people Bill knows and know him. So we have a thing in our family called the Bill Riggs Award, which started, and I get this a little off, but you were with Kathy Nastiff somewhere on the East Coast, and she was telling you, oh, Bill, you just know everybody, and you're going to see somebody here. Would you stop that? He said, I do not. And it just, within 5 or 10 minutes, Ricky Jordan, who was at Second Baptist Church, comes walking down the boardwalk, Mr. Riggs! So ever since then, we've called it the Bill Riggs. If you know somebody somewhere away from your home, but you have to talk to them, you win the Bill Riggs Award. You win the Bill Riggs Award.
You can't just say I know that person.
That's right. Because Bill would go talk about
Oh, yeah.
Just my side does not count.
And one time, I'm sure he's told this story to all of you, but I want to hear it again myself, as my father would say, our father. But one time, we're going to a wedding on Cape. No, where was it? Yeah, Martha's Vineyard, and Gil and I came up with some of our kids, and we all met, and we got on the boat, and what?
The dog.
And we had Murphy, our dog, with us. And so he was holding the dog, and we went to look for Robin, our daughter-in-law, who was supposed to meet us there. And this young, beautiful gal came walking up to him, and he thought they were one of the cousins that we wouldn't recognize after so many years. And so he held out his arms, and she held out her arms, and they gave a big hug, and she said, I came to see your dog.
And then, we were still talking and laughing about the situation when Marylou came up and she held out her arm.
But you know, we got a lot of this from our parents. Who were not nearly as, they were not nearly as social as we are, but they were within their own family, and they taught us to love other people and to look for the best everywhere we go. And don't you agree with me, Bill?
I do.
Yeah, both of them. And even though they weren't nearly as social as both of we are.
Not sure I agree with that.
What?
They weren't as social.
Well, I mean, they didn't have a lot of, never mind. Anyway. Well, how was I going to like this one? But besides all that, he's led his life, and he's had many. And I wanted to say also, when I asked him today, I was going through all these different names that people called him. What did Joanne call him? And he said, probably Honey. It was Honey. And she was also a very important part of his life and your lives. And I remember that I had a part in that. I was a very young girl, and he came home from the war, and my parents really wanted him to go to law school. And so he was going to law school at Washington University. And they were away on a trip somewhere, and he got a call from William Jewell College and asking him to be admissions director. And so I'm 8.5 years younger, so however that was at that age, and so he sat down afterwards and he asked my advice. And I was so impressed. And I told him, I said, what do you want? He said, I want to go to Liberty and be with Joanne. I said, then just do it. And our parents were not very happy. But what, you all wouldn't be here. So, anyway.
Good decision.
Yep, here, here. Tom?
Right on.
Very good.
Didn't really plan it. It's gonna happen. And I think it happened in a large part because of my association with you all.
Right?
My family, good friends, adopted family, really.
Right?
I feel like we belong together. That has been a part of maintaining my relationships, what helps it is. Our pastor has a ritual he goes through in the dedication of babies and families. At one point he says to the parents, this baby does not belong to you. My friend here comes and says, because I think it's so important to belong to each other and our family. Belong, of course, has two meanings. Grandpa owns the farm, so it belongs to him. The ownership situation, but also has a second meaning of relationships. We belong to people skilled in education, like these people belong in education. And we belong to each other because we're all either British princes by birth or married or by informal adoption. Very important, I think, that we belong to each other. As Marylou indicated, our parents had wonderful senses of humor, which is important in life. I think that's been a part of my ability to function. Laugh at others and at myself as well. It also helps in accepting the situation. I think you referred to that. What is, and that's to accept it. I appreciate very much your being here on this occasion and your kind words. Marylou noticed today calligraphy by commission that hangs by my front door. A quote from Henri, I guess it is, Bullock. From quiet home there's nothing worth the wear of winning but laughter and the love of friends. That's not my complete philosophy, because it doesn't include God, who is very important in my life. It's been a big part of my life, laughter and the love of friends, of which I'm so richly blessed.
And family.
I remember the influence on my life that the William Jewell motto has: Deo Thesis Labora, trust in God and work. I haven't worked very hard, but I trusted in God. Done one little work I had to do. And then the verse from Psalm, which has been a big part of my life: cast your burden on the Lord, and He will sustain you. And I have been sustained. And I'm fully convinced one of the ways, many of the ways that He convinces that He sustains us is through the love and laughter of friends and family, which I'm so richly blessed.
Amen.
Thanks to all of you for this occasion and for your many blessings to me. I thank God each day for each one of you. Blessings.
Here, here. Where's dessert?
Brian Fires. You know, of course, she didn't have it ready when I got there, but she had it lemon Brian Fires. And whenever, all the rest of the time, she was still cooking. Every time I went home, even after we were married, it was lemon Brian Fires.
And she also made, and I'll have to tell you this, he was the favorite one of the four of us. I mean, he was the favorite. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Bill. Happy birthday to you. And many more.
9 for each decade.